Are you guys thinking of getting a new suspension setup but don't know where to start? Are you going for looks, performance, or a bit of both? I'm Daniel, and this is my 4-banger dream build, and today I'll help make suspension a little bit more simple for you. Growing up, there was always two things that I always thought I needed in my dream build: cool turbo or supercharger noises, and a race car look. Well, I somewhat got the first one. But what gives any car a race car look? I'd say a little bit of aero on the front and on the back, some nice big wheels, and maybe the most important one, being lowered to the ground. I've got some aero, and wheels seem a little bit out of reach, but being closer to the ground, now how does that one work? That was a key question I asked myself before even considering buying this set of BC Racing coilovers. At the time, all I knew was that there were stock height cars, lowered cars, and ground scraping masterpieces. But now I know there's key differences in the types of suspensions you can even get. You can't even see it in here, but it's there. Some more for looks, and some capable of increasing your performance. But how do you get any of them? You know, I've heard of people cutting their springs around town, but that doesn't sound right. On the other hand, I've also seen people installing new springs, and let's just say that wasn't any better. But eventually I found out that there's only 3 types of suspension that you'll even need to consider buying. You have lowering springs, coilovers, and air suspension. And chances are, you're already debating between these 3. You might be looking at lowering springs thinking these are the cheapest if you just want to lower your car a couple inches. And while that may be true, you might regret that in the future if you decide one day you want a track-ready car. Because now you're gonna have to do double the work for almost the same result. But what are the differences between lowering springs, coilovers, and air suspension? And what's the best option for you? Number 1, lowering springs are great for anyone that's basically just looking to get a more aggressive stance. And this is done by lowering your car a set amount of inches, which will usually come with the added benefits of stiffer suspension and better handling. And all this by maintaining the stock suspension geometry, as well as maintaining the stock shocks. Number 2 are coilovers. These can get a little tricky, but let's pretend there's an entry, mid, and expert level. I have entry level coilovers. These are the BC Racing BR series coilovers. These give me 1 to 2 inches of adjustable ride height, an F6 kg or R16 kg spring rate, 30 clicks of compression / rebound adjustment, and the front camber plates. Hold up, what does any of that even mean? I'm sure you got the 1 to 2 inches adjustable ride height. Basically, I can use the wrenches to adjust my ride height 1 to 2 inches. In the front, you use the lower locking collar to adjust the height towards the spring. And for the backs, you'll see this is a divorce setup, so you first adjust the height with the locking collars that have the spring perched on them. Then you adjust the shock link so it has a small amount of tension on the spring at a full drop. And this is for when your car is jacked up. Make sure not to make it too long or the spring can fall out, and if it's too short, there won't be enough travel. And while you're here, you'll also see this one, which allows you to adjust your preload, which is how much your spring is compressed without any load. BC Racing recommends a preload of 4 to 5 millimeters, so I keep it at that and move on. Now, spring rates are the amount of force it takes to compress your spring 1 inch. Mine is a F6/R16 kilogram spring rate, but in English, that equates to about 336 pounds per inch in the front and 896 pounds per inch in the back. And to make the 30 clicks of compression / rebound adjustment easy to understand, just remember, rebound happens when your car lands on the springs, so they're compressed, and so they have to rebound to go back to normal. And then compression's the opposite. That's whenever you hit a speed bump, and the spring gets compressed between the car and the speed bump. BC Racing makes it extra simple by giving you soft and hard. Soft counterclockwise, hard clockwise. So like I said, BC Racing gives you 30 clicks. I already went ahead and went all the way to the left, so I should be at 0. Now I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26,
7, 28, 29, 30. And so the middle is your baseline, so you have 15 clicks to either side. So let's go to the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That should be about middle. Clockwise is going to be compression, so turn it that way 2 to 4 clicks at a time if you want a stiffer ride. Counterclockwise is rebound, so turn it 2 to 4 clicks the other way for a softer ride. That's kind of why it's like that, right? Soft, hard. And if you still don't get what a stiffer ride means, it basically increases more of the resistance to feel firmer and a little bit more bouncy, so you can get a good grasp of how the road feels under you. And yeah, this is usually what track drivers prefer. And then having it a few clicks the other way gives you more of that stock feel, right? But keep in mind, if you have stiff springs and then you go too soft, you'll basically under dampen the system. And what ends up happening is that spring will start to bounce and then feel worse. Realistically, the goal is to just match the spring stiffness. I daily this thing and I already know that my rear springs are stiffer. I start at neutral, which is 15 clicks, then go clockwise, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. maybe 5 to 10 clicks tops, and that's enough rebound to compensate for the extra stiff spring. And for the fronts, I usually keep them neutral, and then going 5 counterclockwise is probably more than enough for a smooth ride. And lastly, we have camber plates. After I lowered my car, I naturally got some negative camber on my rear wheels, which is why they poke out in the bottom. That's probably about 2 degrees of camber, maybe a little bit more. Honestly, I don't know. But if I wanted to match that, I could also do about 1.5 to 1.8 degrees of camber on the front by jacking up the car slightly, loosening the Allen bolts, and slowly sliding it inward to add the negative camber. Just remember, if you do this, or if you get coilovers in general, you need to go get a professional alignment afterwards. That way you don't ruin your tires after a few hundred miles. Overall, the entry-level coilovers are perfect for the guys that want a little bit more adjustability out of their suspension without being over the top. The next step up would be the mid-level coilovers. These give everything that the entry-level give, but also give you separate reservoirs for more precise rebound and compression adjustability. And then lastly, you have expert level. These would be even better. You'll usually get upgraded springs and then low and high speed adjustability. And yeah, I mean greater rebound and compression, which that's kind of crazy. But man, these can cost you a pretty penny. I'm talking about close to $3 for these. It's definitely on par with how much air suspension costs, which we talk so much about coilovers that you probably already forgot that air suspension is number 3 on our list. Now in terms of price, these are likely your most expensive options, but although they cost more, they're not necessarily better for performance, especially not for track use. You see, you can probably take them out a couple times, but the thing you'll have to remember is that these are bagged with air, and air on a hot track, air with anything hot, causes fluctuations in pressure, which is not good for the bags. And if something ends up going wrong, not only do you have to get it replaced, but that's usually way more expensive than if you just have to swap out a coilover. So what's the point then? And I mean, honestly, these are the showboats. These are the guys pulling up to car meets, airing out, showing off their oh so perfect wheel fitment. Not to mention, on the upside compared to springs or even coilovers, is that these are adjustable whenever and wherever with just the push of a button. You got an extra big bump coming up, go ahead and air it up and go right over. Which, you know, that's good. It's definitely preventing way more scraping than I get on this thing. Maybe you just got some $5,000 wheels. Well, if you're at the mall, go ahead and air all the way out, and now it's going to be way harder for them to get any type of jack or anything under there to get those wheels out and steal them from you. Honestly though, no hate on these. If you like the style and know how to get perfect fitment and can afford these are probably the ones for you. Most of us love seeing these out in public because there's just not a ton of people with them. Realistically, it's just all the old heads giving me hate out there. Anyways, as you saw, I ended up going with some BC Racing coilovers because although I love to save money where I can, I still want to make sure my car is able to perform the way I want it to. And I'd rather not spend the extra money for airbags knowing how rough I can be at times, even though they make for such great show cars. Like, come on, who doesn't love a Stansack car? You know I do. Alright guys, so the next thing I want to do is take y'all on a test drive. We're going to hop in the car real quick. Alright. Okay guys, so compared to the factory suspension, the car now feels more put together and more predictable. You lose some of that soft isolation that you have from the stock suspension, but you gain significantly more control and feedback. On these smooth roads, the car tracks straighter, feels more planted. You know, there's less like body roll, it's like less floaty, and less need for me to constantly correct it, you know. When you're in a bigger car like a truck, you can't just swing right and expect it to continue going. You have to pull back a little bit so you don't feel like you're rolling over. Which is why going through these corners, the body roll is noticeably reduced. The car stays flatter, weight transfer is more controlled. Like I said, the steering just feels more immediate and you feel more confident. I would say one downside, if you consider it that, would be bumps and, you know, not perfect roads. You know, these are coilovers, they're meant to give you a stiffer ride. So going over rough surfaces and expansion joints, you know, you feel it. The impacts are a little bit firmer, but that's because your suspension is stiffer. But the car, like, immediately goes back to normal. Like, there's not a ton of bounce or anything. Now, like, on this bridge, we have a bunch of, like, humps, I guess you could say. And although you're kind of going up and down, you're not feeling it as much as you would like in a truck. You're not like really bouncy. Like the vertical movements are tighter, but they're way more damped. Honestly guys, having coilovers is less about comfort and more about chassis control and feedback, which is exactly what you want from a performance-oriented suspension. I'm really hoping that now that you know what the car should feel like, maybe this will get you to decide whether you want springs, coilovers, or air suspension. This video showed y'all the 3 types of suspension. I went through how they differ from each other, the prices, and honestly what exactly you're getting from each of them. I also included this part with my own personal experiences with having coilovers specifically versus my stock suspension. And hopefully you guys found this video helpful. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment to see my dream build come to life. And until next time, peace.